So here's a name and a face you might recognize too. She was in On My Block. She was in Diary of a Future President on Disney Plus. But now you can actually hear her voice on the uber popular Batman Unburied scripted podcast, which you can hear as a Spotify original from Spotify and DC. She plays Renee Montoya. It's Jessica Marie Garcia. Jessica, how are you doing?
I am doing so well. Thank you for that introduction. I feel fancy.
Oh, no problem at all. No problem. So, Jessica, if it were me, I would jump at the chance to be a part of a Batman project. So how excited were you to join Batman Unburied as Renee Montoya?
Oh, I flipped out. I had gotten an email. I was about to literally go to bed and I got this email and it just like listed who else was playing and it said Winston Duke as Batman. I said, wait, what? And I just flipped out. And I told my husband, because my husband is a huge DC, huge Marvel, huge comic fan in general. So when I told him that, he was like, oh my God, you have to do it. Just say yes. I don't care like what it is. Like you have to do it. And I have always wanted to be a part of this universe. So I jumped at the chance, honestly. And all my friends are very jealous.
Okay, so if that's the case, then how much did your husband poke you and prod you for details and spoilers and all kinds of other stuff?
Funny enough, he is like the anti-spoiler man. Like he cannot, like
Wow.
he doesn't want to watch trailers. He wants to just watch, like he cannot stand it when people like, especially on Twitter, like he will not listen to anything they say on Twitter because he just gets so upset. He does not want to know anything in advance. So when he was listening to it, he got like in his own like space. He likes it very quiet. Like we have a newborn, so like he's just like, is everything set up because I need to listen to this. And he loves it, and I'm so thankful for it because so many of my friends, they are very, you know how Batman fans are in general.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're very particular. They can be your best friend or your worst enemy
Mm-hmm.
depending on like their thoughts. So I've just been overwhelmed with how the response has been so far.
It's been a great show so far. Now, we've actually seen and heard Renee Montoya over the years in a lot of different things, whether it be animation, live action, things like that. So
Yeah.
how would you describe your Renee Montoya?
Well, I tried not to replicate anybody because I thought that I would just go down a very deep hole. I won't lie to you and say that I wasn't terrified of taking on such an iconic character. I just kind of took her from my perspective. Like she's a badass. She's a badass, and I think at the root of her, she's a really good detective. Like she is really smart. She's really quick. So I just kind of wanted to bring that in as well as her humanity. Like I think her dialogue with Barbara, like you can tell how much she cares for her and how much she cares about the job and how important that is. So I just kind of leaned into the humanity of her and tried not to take anything I've seen or heard in the past kind of influence me too much because I thought that if I did that, then I could never live up.
I totally understand that. After episodes 3 and 4, though, you were saying how she's partnered up with Barbara Gordon, which I think is a really, really neat partnership. How much fun was it to play opposite Gina Rodriguez for this thing?
Well, first of all, I've known Gina for a while. We worked together on Diary of a Future President. So she's been my director for a lot of our relationship. But I actually didn't get to work with her at all. I recorded episode 3, all of my episodes without her even being cast at first.
Wow. Wow.
So
She wasn't even cast yet?
she wasn't
Oh
even
my
cast
gosh.
yet. They were
Wow.
like, I was working with Alex Kemp, and he was like, "Yeah, we don't have our Barbara yet, so you're going to be working with this
How
actor."
did you guys do this that way?
I
That's
I
you. I
know.
would never have known. That's like the biggest spoiler of all, right there. I would never
Yeah,
have
there you
known. Never
go.
known.
There you go. Oh, good. I'm glad. I worked with a incredible actor, and he it was a gentleman, and he gave me a lot to work off of because this is something he does a lot. Going into voiceovers, especially serialized voiceovers, I just have not been a part of before. So it was really intimidating, but we did it, and then I came back again, and I heard Gina, but I didn't get to work with Gina. So she got to record off me, but I didn't get to record off her. So that was really tough. And I was so nervous. I was like, oh my gosh, if this like affects the dynamic, like I was so worried. I was like already worried. And now I was just like, hyperventilating and like sweating. And I was like, it's coming out. I hope it's good.
Wow, the fact that you guys did that with the scratch voice, that's incredible. That's
Yeah.
really, really incredible. So Renee and Barbara definitely tight, like you said. Babs can be a little reckless at times, though, of course, and we know that Renee's helped her out a couple times already from episodes 3 and 4. How far do you think she'd go to help out Barbara?
Oh, I think she would do anything for her. I think she's already doing so much, like going against the rules. I think Renee, up until this point, has been like, this is our job, this is how we do it, and there's no straying from that. Like, she doesn't want to kind of be like too rebellious against, the bosses. But right now, with Barbara like kind of doing her own thing, and working with the Riddler, like that was not something that, oh, spoiler alert, if that was not something
they've listened to it already. They know. How can you not be caught up? Come on.
But I think now she's just like, okay, like I'm gonna have your back. Like, we're partners in this. But I think she's nervous. I think she's scared. But I think she'll, go to bat with her through anything.
I have no doubt about that. Yeah. Now, Jessica, you said you got a big DC fan in the house. You already know how crazy some of these Batman villains can be, but I think the Harvester might be one of the most disturbing Batman villains ever. I mean, that's just the level it's at already. So as you're preparing for the show and you're, diving into the scripts and things like that, what was your reaction to the Harvester, and how much more are we going to learn about this crazy guy over these next few episodes?
Oh, I think that there are so many twists and turns. I was learning about this like as I was reading, like, because I didn't, and I couldn't go to my husband because he didn't want to know anything. So I was really kind of doing my own research with everything. And I think it's amazing the take that we're going in, the direction we're going in, because I don't think a lot of it has been done before. So with the Harvester specifically, ooh, I don't want to say too much, but things get wild. Yeah, especially these last two episodes, you didn't get a lot of Bruce or Batman. Everything was kind of just spoken about. So I feel like once he comes back, you're gonna get, a little bit more of the Harvester and his dealings very soon.
Ah, yes, the plot thickens. We're talking to
The
Jessica
plot
Marie.
thickens.
You're talking to Jessica Marie Garcia, who of course plays Renee Montoya in Batman Unburied. New episodes drop every Tuesday exclusively on Spotify from Spotify and DC. Jessica, you talked about Winston Duke a second ago. Just how crazy good is Winston Duke as Bruce Wayne from your perspective? Because from mine, it's unbelievable.
I get chills with you even saying that. His voice is so commanding. And I don't know how many people feel this way, but I feel like Batman's not a difficult character, but I think Bruce Wayne is a very difficult character. And I think he's really incredible about encapsulating both of those characters and really finding, the differences and where they kind of like spawn from. So he's incredible. I got to meet him back in the day, like right before COVID hit. We both got Italian awards from the Italian Film Festival, oddly enough. So
that's a wild connection right there.
Right? Isn't that bizarre? I was like, I don't know if either one of us are Italian, but sure.
And I don't think you are, which makes it even more interesting. Okay.
I don't. They just have good taste, is all I'm saying. But when I met him, I was just like, oh God, I really hope we get to work together. He's so cool and so tall. And just his voice is so commanding that I was like, there's really nothing he can't do. And I even thought of him as more of like having that villain voice. And then hearing him, I remember Alex played some playback for me when I came back for some more reshooting or re-recording, I should say. And hearing him, I was just like, oh my God, like he can stop a room. Like just that booming, deep voice, it's like velvet. And I was like, yeah, this is Batman. Like, this is who I always thought. I mean, Michael Keaton's my favorite, but like, I'm like, this is Batman to me. And I love that there's an entire generation that gets to see a Black Batman for one, and also just one that I think is like, kind of like the most badass of them all. Like he's got like body. He's got, he's got girth.
Oh, he's put together. There's no question about that.
Right, right. Yeah. He was built.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, Jessica, Gotham PD certainly no strangers to corruption, and Flash has certainly been a problem for a lot of characters in the Bat family in the past. So, how much trouble is he going to continue to be for Barbara and Renee in these upcoming episodes? Because I just want to.
Yeah, just a nuisance, just an absolute nuisance. I think for Barbara, you're going to see more of that with Barbara than with Renee, but. Yeah, he's a pest for sure.
Okay, so I know that we say limited series, and that's like the worst thing that you could possibly hear. However, my mind starts turning, Jessica, and I'm thinking, okay, just because this is a limited series, does that mean that, this is the end of the story? Would you like to do maybe a Montoya Barbara spinoff at some point? Do you think there's a future here for some sort of stories?
Oh, I think that honestly, I've fallen in love with everybody's stories at this point that I could feel like I could listen to a spinoff of any of them. I would love a Barbara Renee spinoff. I would love to be the question. Are you kidding me? So I feel like there's a world for it all. I feel like specifically with Batman and how well it's doing, that I think that, the audience wants that. And as long as they're there, we're going to be there.
I'm so glad you brought up the question because I was going to bring it up. I'm like, oh, well, if she brings it up, then it's not like me planting the seed. This has clearly already been thought of. So, okay, I like that. I like that. I like the way your mind thinks.
I mean, I've definitely thought of it. I don't know.
I thought of it. It was right here in front of me. And I'm like, oh, well, she's going to bring it up. Then I guess we'll just go ahead and go with that then. Jessica, before I let you go, obviously it's I'm sure it's been a blast for you playing Renee Montoya. So would you at some point maybe, hopefully, like to play her in live action in, anything? I'm sure this is not the last we're going to see of Renee Montoya and stuff. So what, live action maybe?
Oh, hell yeah. I would love that more than anything. Oh my God, I would adore that. I being in this world, like we spoke about before, has been such a dream for me. And I would love to dive into like who she is and do some fighting and just feel like, because she, again, is such a badass. And I would just love to encompass that as often as possible. So yes, please.
And we don't know enough about a young Renee Montoya either, as far as I'm concerned. So that's another thing that I think maybe.
Where's her origin story?
Right. Right,
James?
Super cool, I think. Maybe it's just me. I don't know, just throwing that one out there. But for now, we have to settle for it. And I say that in a way that, you could possibly settle for more Batman Unburied every Tuesday. Make sure you're listening to the new episodes on Spotify. It's a Spotify original from Spotify, DC, Warner Brothers, and a whole bunch of amazing, amazing folks, including her, Jessica Marie Garcia. Thank you so much for taking the time to chat with me. I appreciate it.
No, thank you, James. This has been amazing. Hopefully we get to talk again.